My mother-in-law made me clean sewage with a fever, so I started counting. I was knee-deep in cow shit and sewage water when I realized I'd been doing this for free for 4 years. The shovel weighed 50 pounds in my hands. Maybe it was the fever. Maybe it was because I'd been at this for 3 hours while the temperature sat at 38 degrees and my body burned at 101. The drainage ditch behind our dairy barn had backed up overnight, flooding the equipment shed with a toxic soup of manure, urine, and God knows what else. The Mexicans finished this in 2 hours yesterday. Diane's voice cut through the February morning air from where she stood above me, warm in her Carhartt jacket. My mother-in-law never missed a chance to compare me to the hired workers. But I suppose some people just aren't built for farm life. I tried to respond, but my throat felt like sandpaper. Another shovelful. The smell made my stomach turn. 7 months since my second miscarriage, and here I was, standing in literal shit while running a fever that should have had me in bed. Maybe if you weren't so weak, you could keep a baby. The words hit harder than the cold. I kept shoveling, but my mind started working, started calculating, started remembering. The week after Tom and I got married, Diane had me out here at 5 a.m. learning to milk cows. No training, just thrown into the parlor with 100 confused Holsteins. "Family pitches in," she'd said. Tom had laughed from the doorway, coffee in hand, watching me struggle with the milking equipment. My first pregnancy came 6 months later. 8 weeks along, Diane had me carrying 50-pound feed bags from the truck to the barn. "Exercise is good for babies," she'd said. I miscarried that night. Back to work the next morning while still bleeding because cows don't stop eating just because you're sad. Then Sarah moved back home after her divorce. Tom's older sister brought her drinking problem and her 8-year-old daughter, but somehow never brought any help. Suddenly, I was cooking 3 meals a day for 6 people, cleaning up after 7 if you counted Sarah's friends who crashed on our couch most weekends. The second pregnancy lasted longer, 14 weeks. Diane actually seemed happy until she realized it meant I might slow down on farm work. She doubled my hours instead. "My mother worked until the day she delivered," she'd say, watching me struggle with hay bales in 90-degree heat. That pregnancy ended while I was moving equipment in the barn. The doctor at the emergency room used the word stress-induced 3 times in his report. "Mom had 5 kids while farming," Tom had said in the hospital parking lot. "Some women just aren't meant for both." I dragged my mind back to the present, to the sewage drain, to the numbers that had been adding up in my head for months. 4 years. 6 hours of farm work every single day, including weekends. That's 8,760 hours. Miguel, Carlos, and Roberto make $12 to $15 an hour for the exact same work. Conservative estimate using $12, $105,000 in unpaid labor. But that was just the farm work. 3 meals a day for 5 to 6 people. 2 hours of cooking and cleaning per meal. Another 6 hours daily. 4 years of that? Around $15,000 if you paid someone minimum wage to cook and clean. Then there was my part-time job at the dental office. $30,000 a year that I had to quit because Diane needed me here during business hours. Tom promised we'd be fine on his salary, plus what the farm brought in. What he meant was, we'd be fine because I'd become free labor. The bitter laugh that escaped my throat turned into a cough. I looked up at Diane, still standing there in her warm jacket, supervising my fever dream of unpaid work. Miguel walked past carrying fence posts. Diane nodded at him respectfully. Miguel, who got paid $12 an hour in cash. Miguel, who never worked when he was sick. Miguel, who had Sundays off and lived in the provided trailer behind the main house. Even the illegal immigrant got treated better than the legal wife. I climbed out of the drainage ditch, my legs shaking so bad I could barely stand. Diane looked at my shit-covered boots with disgust. "Milking starts at 4 tomorrow morning. Don't oversleep again." Tom's truck pulled into the driveway. I watched him get out, laughing at something on his phone. He walked past me without even looking up, straight into the house where Sarah was already on her second beer at 11 in the morning. I stripped off the contaminated boots, standing in my socks on the frozen ground. Every part of my body hurt. Every part of my soul felt broken. I can't do this anymore. The thought came clear and sharp through the fever. But then reality hit just as hard. No money in my name. No family within 2,000 miles. No car titled to me. No friends left after 4 years of isolation on this farm. Nowhere to go.